Hey guys. Hey, can you hear us well? See us well? Okay, that's great. My name is Corentin, and in the name of SMG, welcome to all of you for this amazing edition of the SEO Square. Special welcome to Neil. I'm so happy to be with you, Neil. I
Thanks
think
for
that's
having
going to
me.
be, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks to you all, guys. And while we wait for everybody to connect, just a quick stat. We have more than 70 countries represented today. So that's a global event. So yeah, thank you. If you have any problem connecting, just let us know. You have a chat on the right-hand side. You also have a chat on the SEO Square website. And maybe as a quick introduction, just a few slides because that's the first conference of the first day. So yeah, just a few words. So we gonna be together for 2 days, 12 conferences. So that's going to be pretty epic. It's 100% online. That's free. You know that because you're here. We're going to have more than 4,000 people attending. As I said, special thanks to our partners. Neil, you're one of them. Also, thanks to Botify, AB Tasty, SimilarWeb, Dentsu. Thank you guys. Without you, we won't be able to do this. And also thanks to our media partners. So a few of those media partners are here. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty epic, as I said. Day one will be amazing. We're going to kick this off with Neil about marketing trends. So stay. That's going to be a few minutes only. Then we're going to follow up with Stefan. Stefan, it's been like 20 years in the SEO industry. So the guy I have a lot of knowledge and it's going to be about SEO evangelism. So stay, that's going to be great. Then I'm going to have the pleasure to be with Chris to talk about globalization and international SEO. Chris is from Dentsu. He works with amazing companies. So I think the experience he have is going to be like so helpful for you all. Then we're going to have Frank and some of its clients from Bodify to talk about internal buy-in. That's one of the major key to success. Then a quick break, and then we're going to have Eli. I don't know if you've ever heard about Eli, but you should know about this guy. It's going to be a fireside chat, so come with questions, and I think Eli will be happy to answer those questions with you. And we're going to finish the day with Nick and Justin from AB Tasty to talk about experimentation because you need to test and then learn to be as efficient as possible. And because that's not enough, we're going to have a second day. It's going to start with Kevin to talk about AI content. I'm pretty sure you've heard about that. That's a major topic. So yeah, you should be there. So come, that's going to be great. And then we're going to follow up with another AI related topic. Nicholas, the co-founder of SMG, and myself to talk about competition analysis related to AI, how to be as efficient as possible when it comes to competitive analysis. Sorry about that. And then we're going to have Adele Barak talking about e-commerce strategies. So if you're on e-commerce website, you need to come. That's going to be so helpful for you guys. And then that's maybe one of the one I'm the most excited about because we're going to talk about psychology and SEO. That's going to be on Sarah. So that's going to be, I think, pretty interesting, not only from an SEO perspective, but from also a human perspective. Quick break, Evan talking about marketing data and how to use data to make the best decision possible. And we're going to follow up with Jerry and finish the day, finish the events to talk about things that we see very often on the website, but are that can have a huge impact on a website and on the performance of those websites. So that's a great program. If you have if you have not told your boss that you will not be available for the next 2 days, text him or text her because you need to be there. I think that's going to be so great that you need to be there for all those amazing conference. For those who don't know about SMG, just a word. We are just an amazing SaaS platform all about identification, prioritization of action, production as efficient as possible, and also monitoring of your content performance. We are an AI-based company. as I said, used by 400 clients in 15 countries everywhere, available in 15 different languages. Yeah, it's all about how to optimize, maximize the return on investments of your SEO and content strategy. So if you haven't heard about us, you should. And so come to our website, ask us for a demo, ask us for a presentation. We'll be happy to do that. We have teams in Europe and in Northern America, so I think that's going to be quite easy to set this up. And maybe to finish with the introduction, and then that's going to be on Neil. You should have received an email with all of your access links. So for each conference, you have a link. Those links are personal, so don't share that with your colleague, otherwise you won't be able to connect. For each conference, 10 minutes before, you're going to have another link. So that's easier for you. You don't have to retrieve the old email. And if you have any problem, any issue, if you need any help, just let us know. You have a chat button on the SEO Square website. So go for it. And I think that's going to be on you, Neil. Just one quick thing. Let's make some noise. You should be using the SEO Square hashtag on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I know it's not Twitter anymore, but I'm an old person. So go there, make some noise. I think that's going to be great. I will leave you the stage, Neil, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Today's going to be a fun day, and I can't wait to dive into the marketing trends that we're going to be discussing for today and 2024.
Yeah, so I think you're on your own now. See you soon.
Awesome. So as
Bye.
I mentioned, I'm going to be discussing marketing trends that you can't ignore for 2024. They work today, they'll work for the rest of the year, and they should even work beyond. So my name is Neil Patel. I'm the co-founder of an ad agency called NP Digital, and we helped a lot of different countries all over the world with their marketing. We have a lot of awards. We have a lot of different software solutions. And the reason I say this is because we see a lot of data. So keep in mind today when I break down these trends, it's all data backed. You'll see the charts. And if you leverage at least one or two of the trends, you should see some results. You don't have to leverage all of them, but if you just leverage one or two, you should see at least some results. And we've won a lot of awards. We've gotten a lot of these awards because of these trends and tactics that we're actually implementing on our client websites. That's how effective they are. That's how well known, that's how well we know they work. So let's dive into the 15 key marketing trends for 2024. The first is you have to move beyond creation. Look, content is important. You know, Bill Gates once said content is king. The issue now is there's tons of content on the web, and not all content is king. It needs to be extremely high in quality. So when we're looking at content, I want you to first think about search, because that's where a lot of people find the content. And search isn't just Google, TikTok, Instagram. You can search pretty much almost anywhere, even when you're searching for a place to rent on Airbnb. That's an example of search. But if you're looking at Google specifically, there's 8.5 billion searches a day. Of those 8.5 billion searches, 15% of them are brand new searches that have never been searched before. And when I mean brand new, I'm not talking about never searched before that day. I'm talking about since Google started. It's a 20-plus-year-old company. So 15% of their daily searches have never been typed into Google before. That's 1.27 billion keywords. That just shows you that there's a lot of opportunities for you to go after new keywords that not too many people are targeting. Then there's also 680 million searches a day, roughly 8%, which are question-based searches. People are looking for answers. So there's a lot of tools like on Answer the Public, we show you question and answers as well as new up-and-coming searches. But if you target some of these keywords, you can start getting more traffic than the competition. And this makes it easier when you're creating new content to not compete as much with a lot of the existing players out there. When we are crawling our databases between Answer the Public and Ubersuggest, we track over 7 billion keywords. We found that in the last 30 days, 94.29% of the web pages got no organic traffic. These are the web pages that are indexed in Google. Just think about that. 94.29%. How much content are we really creating that no one's reading? You need to stop focusing on just creating content. You need to make sure that your content is actually getting read. And it's getting worse with AI. When we ask 1,051 marketers, how are you creating your content? 129 said humans. Majority said AI or AI human combination. When you think about that, that's just going to make it easier to create more content that's going to be released on the web, and then you're going to see even more pages that aren't going to get any traffic, right? And when we ask people if they can tell if the content is AI written or human written, a lot of people couldn't actually tell. In this example, all the content was written by AI, but a good chunk of them, almost half, didn't know that it was written by humans or AI altogether. Now, when you think about blogging and AI, we did a test with 68 websites and we created 744 articles. Half the articles were human written, half AI. When we published them, after a 5-month period, we noticed that the human content was generating roughly 5 times the amount of traffic. When we looked at it per minute spent, because you could say, all right, well, yeah, sure, human content's getting more traffic, but I can crank out AI content in the snap of a finger. When we looked at how much time it took to create AI content, because you still got to come up with the prompts, double check the content, put it in the CMS, modify it a little bit here and there, we found that per minute spent, human generated content was actually producing more traffic than AI generated content. And here's what it gets really interesting with content. When we look at trends over the years, we don't have 2024 data yet because the year's not over. But when we compare 2022 to 2023, a lot of traffic is coming from these 3 to 6 word phrases. But when we actually look at revenue, on the left chart, you see B2B. On the right chart, you see B2C. Even though traffic percentage the majority isn't coming to the keywords that are 7 or more words, it's making up a large chunk of the revenue and it's continually increasing. In 2024 and beyond, we see ultra long tail keywords starting to generate more of the revenue than we've seen in previous years. And with AI, more and more people are getting used to typing in longer tail phrases because they're expecting to get the answer for it right then and there. Then we started looking at content from a perspective of just blogging and who's getting the most traffic. And we also saw a trend here in which the people who generate the most traffic from blogging aren't necessarily creating new content. Sure, that's a part of it, but they're actually spending the majority of their time updating their content versus creating new content. There's already enough content for most subjects on Google. This is why Wikipedia ranks so well. They continually update their content. And you also can't ignore social media. See, a lot of people are like, social, does it really convert? Is it revenue? Is it worth it? Only young people are on it. None of that data is true. When we look here, here's the average time spent on social media for number of hours. It's kind of crazy to think about. The average time spent using social media per day by age group is crazy. No matter what age group, it's more than an hour a day. That's a lot of time spent. But here's also what's crazy. When we analyzed a bit more than 5.2 million pieces of social content in the last 30 days, 59.4% of them got no engagement. It just shows that social web has tons of content. People have tons to choose from. And when I say no engagement, this is no likes, no shares, no comments. It sucks. That means you're putting out content and no one's engaging with it. At that point, you're better off not putting out content. So what should you do? Well, you should continually produce content and write content, but you should do keyword research first using tools like Answer the Public or Ubersuggest or whatever you want to use, because it'll give you ideas on what people want to consume. You also should be spending most of your time not creating, but promoting the content. And don't keep writing the same regurgitated information over and over again. People want new stuff. Trend number 2, companies will create podcasts over blogs. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't blog, but let me show you some data. There's roughly 1 billion blogs, or actually a bit more than 1 billion blogs, and it ends being roughly one blog for every 7 people. There's roughly 4.2 million podcasts, and that's roughly one podcast for every 1,577 listeners. Yes, there's a lot of blogs. Yes, there's not that many podcasts. It doesn't mean that people are consuming podcasts at the same amount as blogs, but they are consuming it and they're craving it. There's just not a lot of options. You should create a podcast and you can actually repurpose that content, turn some of those episodes into blog posts in the future. The average internet user only reads an estimated 37 blog posts per month, according to Chartbeat. And the average podcast listener subscribes to 7 podcasts and listens to 5 episodes per week. The average American listens to podcasts for roughly 12 hours per week. There's a lot of content to consume in the blogging world. There's not enough podcasts on different topics. Create a podcast. It's a big, open opportunity for most marketers and businesses. Just people don't really take advantage of it. And you can think about, if you already have a blog, can you turn some of those popular blog posts into podcast episodes? Is your competition podcasting? What's their strengths? What's their weaknesses? What are they not covering that you should be covering? If you create a podcast, can you record it in a video format, repurpose it for social media content, and then blog content as well, which could all save you time. Trend number 3, social media secrets. There's a lot of data that shows what content's doing well and what's not doing well. And I wanted to surface that for you. So in 2024, based on analysis we did of 6,302,491 posts on social media, we found that the most engaging type of content was short form videos. No surprise there, 31.38% of the engagement. Long form was next at 15.51%. Interviews, podcasts, and expert talks were 13.84. Keep in mind, you can do a long form podcast interview or interview of someone else, or you can just do a podcast in a video format, and then you can slice that, and now you have long form video, and then you can take clips from that and create short form, right? So if you actually do number 3, you can use that to also tackle number 1 and 2 on this chart. Live video, not enough people are going live. It's getting great engagement. Memes, user-generated content, and then you have other. And I want to highlight other because what's in other that a lot of people don't think about is text-based content. It's still popular, not as popular as it used to be. Everyone really wants to consume short-form videos these days. But when we look at text-based content, the number 1 performing text-based content was how-to posts, and then the next one was listicles. The rest were diminishing returns. So if you want to create text-based content, focus on the old how-tos and listicles. They still work really, really well. And if you're strapped for time, we found that user-generated content works well, but it works well mainly on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. The rest of the social channels, it doesn't work as well, but you can go get user-generated content and leverage them for those 3 platforms. So think about social media. Yes, a lot of people, take it for granted with marketing other than paid ads. A lot of people are spending money on social paid ads, but they're taking social media organic for granted. And the reach is 3.96 billion users by 2024, the end of 2024. And social media ad spend is projected to reach $165 billion this year globally, which is a lot of money. And consumers spend on average 2 hours and 27 minutes on social media each day. It's a massive market to pay attention to. And I would recommend that you start off by doing those interviews or podcast episodes that are video-based, more longer form. Then also repurpose that for your long-form videos. Then also take short sound bite clips that sound amazing and create short-form videos from that. And then repurpose the most popular short form and then create blog content from that. Trend number 4, beyond the big 3 social networks. Look, this data here tells a big story. In the last 30 days, X outperformed Facebook in terms of ad spend return on investment. So when we look at which social networks have the highest ROI, X was at the top, then Pinterest, then Snap, then TikTok. But keep in mind, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the volume you can from X that you can from Facebook. So even though X has a higher ROI, you're not going to be able to scale up your campaigns as much as you would on Facebook or Instagram. But does that mean that you shouldn't use X from an ad perspective? No, you should. It's profitable. Does it mean you shouldn't use it on Facebook because the return is not as good? No, you can scale up and have your campaigns generate way more leads or sales, whatever you're optimizing for. But the goal isn't is X better, or LinkedIn better, or Facebook better. The key is leverage all the platforms as long as the ROI is great. And the platforms like X and Pinterest and Snap, they may not be able to drive as much volume as you want, but it'll help your overall numbers and profitability. So I want you to pay attention to the low competition social networks. If a lot of people aren't fans of Elon Musk and it means that ads are cheaper and you find that there's no reason why your business shouldn't be on there, then consider advertising on there. It'll make things more profitable for you. And I recommend that you test all the platforms out there and you'll see what works for your business. What works for my business may not work for your business and vice versa. You got to continually test and experiment. Trend number 5, the Insta linked Facebook Talk X era. So what we've seen is platforms are just continually copying each other. And here's a prime example. I log into TikTok the other day and it says, hey, post photos, we'll give you 1.9 times more likes, 2.9 times more comments, and 2.6 times more shares on average. It's not that TikTok users are saying, yes, give us more images. It's that TikTok as a platform wants to compete more with Instagram. So their algorithm is encouraging you to post photos and they'll give you way more reach if you just do it because that's what they want. You got to pay attention to the social networks and what they're telling you that they like. Facebook added disappearing images back in the day to compete with Snap. And Instagram added Reels to compete with TikTok. And YouTube also released Shorts to compete with TikTok and Instagram. Social networks just copy each other. You got to pay attention to the features that they're copying because those are the ones their algorithms are going to push harder. And if you create that type of content and use those features, you're more likely to get way more traffic. So what should you do? Well, first off, adapt your content to all the platforms. What works for one typically works for the others. 2, look for the specific features that they're promoting heavily and leverage them to its fullest extent because it's going to get you more reach. And 3, look at your analytics to see what's working on each platform. Most platforms have these analytics and it'll give you a sense of ideas on what's going to work more and what shouldn't when you're creating your future content. Trend number 6, AI SEO. So this is one of my favorites. And no, I'm not talking about Google changing how companies, are doing SEO or anything like that. I'm more so talking about optimizing for these social platforms. So think of it this way. You used to just use Google to do a search. Now, there's a good chance that you use ChatGPT or Gemini to just get your answer. It's not even a search. You're just typing in a query. You're expecting an answer. These platforms are growing in popularity, which means you need to make sure ChatGPT or Gemini recommends your company. So for example, I got a text the other day and it was on WhatsApp. And this person said, hey, Neil, I want to talk to you about doing marketing. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And I'm like, what's your name? How'd you find me? And what's your company? What are you looking for? And they said, my name's X, Y, and Z. I forgot what their name was. I do appreciate them messaging, but sadly, I forgot what their name was. And they said, I found you because I asked ChatGPT what were some of the best digital marketing agencies, and ChatGPT recommended NP Digital. I was like, oh, this is great. Got a customer from that. Started getting more customers from that. You can optimize for ChatGPT and Gemini actually recommending you. It used to be where their indexes were much older, but they're becoming more and more real time. And when we analyze 82 ranking factors for ChatGPT recommendations, these were the main ones that cause them to recommend a product. Things like brand mentions around the web, reviews, 0.61% of the factor was reviews, and or it had a high weighted scoring of 0.61. And when I mean reviews, what are other people saying about your products and services and companies around the web? Relevancy, how relevant are you to the question that people ask, is your product or service or the business? Age, the older you've been around, we saw that you got more recommended. Recommendations, other people just saying, you got to work with this company, it's amazing, right? Testimonials, things like that. Authority was a big one. How many other people are linking to you, talking about your brand? This all builds up your authority and trust. And why wouldn't you want to get recommended? ChatGPT is one of the top 30 websites. It's growing at a faster pace than any other website. The only platform that beat it to 1 million users was actually Threads. Threads got to 1 million users in less than 24 hours. Technically, I think it was like 100 million that they reached really quickly. But the difference between Threads and ChatGPT is a lot of people don't use Threads anymore. People still use ChatGPT. So what should you do? Work on increasing the mentions of your brand online or your product or service. Of course, focus on reviews. The more 5-star reviews you get, the better off you're going to be. Make sure that your product descriptions have the right keywords. You have the right keywords on your website. Highlight your company's history, your age, the size. This all builds more trust. Get featured on other websites recommending you, like those top 10 list websites. We see ChatGPT pulling from those. And of course, grow your social following and your, website authority. This helps getting more recommendations over time as well. Trend number 7, the Amazon effect. This is one of my favorite ones. We did this experiment in our ad agency, NP Digital. We analyzed 18 e-commerce websites. Now, from months 1 through 12, what we found was, and this was quite interesting, what we found was, on the first month, we started taking websites who were on Amazon. These weren't too much seasonal businesses, and we put it on Amazon. We saw their total sales increase, but a lot of people stopped buying from their website and they started buying on Amazon. But when you started fast forwarding to month 7 and onwards, not only did their website sales increase, their Amazon sales increase, and we found over time when we started surveying people, a lot of people who bought from the website actually found them first through Amazon, but they bought through the website because of promotions and deals and being on their email list. But they first found out about the company through Amazon. So in the short run, we found that Amazon, at least with this experiment, decreases your overall website sales, but it increases your overall sales. But in the long run, it actually helps build your brand, and we see it increasing your overall website sales and, quote unquote, your Amazon sales as well. Keep in mind, 32% of all U.S. commerce growth came from Amazon in 2020. And Amazon drives 5x higher brand awareness compared to other online retailers. Now, with Amazon sales, I could have included more recent stats, 2021, 2022, but a lot of it was skewed because of COVID. So I wanted to look at older data. Of course, right now, the numbers are amazing and thriving because of COVID and what happened. And, a lot of people shifted to online. And you're still seeing people go back into store now, but it skewed the data for 2021 and a few years after that as well. So what you should do is, track your rankings and organic search traffic after launching on Amazon, survey people where they found you, offer deals on your websites. When you do a combination of both, it should help you over time. Trend number 8, the new age texting, WhatsApp. One of my favorite platforms that no one really leverages. How many marketers really leverage WhatsApp? Not that many. A lot of users use WhatsApp, but not that many marketers are leveraging WhatsApp to market a website or a business. And it's crazy on their penetration, and it's still growing. And we continually see it growing over time as well. The number of WhatsApp users worldwide interacting via a WhatsApp business in 2022 by region. Check this out. It's a big number. It's really worth considering leveraging it more and more because it can help you generate more revenue. And when we look at the number of WhatsApp business downloads worldwide, it's still continuing to grow. It just shows that, there's a lot of possibilities with WhatsApp. And if I had to pick one key takeaway with WhatsApp, it's that you can actually leverage WhatsApp. And when people are Facebook with their platform, it all connects: Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, at least through their platforms on the back end. If someone is middle of the funnel and they didn't continue all the way, you can actually remarket to them, target them, and start communicating with them. Messages sent through WhatsApp have a much higher response rate compared to just SMS marketing. And the average user spends about 19.4 hours per month on WhatsApp, which amounts to roughly 38 minutes per day. It's amazing. And one simple thing that businesses can do is add that WhatsApp button to your website so people can click it, talk to you, message with you, and that'll help you generate a lot more sales. You can also send out automated updates for order processing and delivery through WhatsApp, and you can retarget WhatsApp users. If people opted into your channel, you can re-engage them and get them to purchase your product through things like ads, let's say on Facebook or Instagram, which helps as well. Trend number 9, selling feelings. So when you think about Disney is not a theme park company. They aren't a movie company. They're not a toy company. What they really do is they create that magical experience. I was reading an article the other day on CNBC, and it was talking about one of Disney's most profitable units is their theme parks, and they're doubling down on it. And I think they're trying to invest like $6 billion or something crazy in renovations and making it better. Why would they do that? Because it's a magical experience. That's what makes the company a lot of money. That's what they're selling. Not toys, not movies. They're selling that experience, that imagination, that fantasy. Starbucks, you see them all over the world. They don't sell coffee. They sell community. You can have conversations. You can have meetings at Starbucks. Heck, they even offer free internet at most locations, or I think all locations. Visa, they don't sell a credit card. They sell security, trust. When you're doing a transaction, when you shop and you're buying something, you don't worry about fraud or anything like that. Visa has your back. And Amazon, they don't sell products online. They sell convenience. They sell selection. And they pretty much are the everything store. You can buy whatever you want on Amazon. Toothpaste, toilet paper, they literally have it all. So you got to think about emotional branding. How can you tie it into what you're doing? With emotional branding, it's a great way to generate more sales. People have a left side of their brain and a right side of their brain. One is logical, one leverages emotions. It doesn't mean you shouldn't leverage the logical side. It means you should be leveraging both. It'll help you generate more sales in the long run. And it also helps you build more trust, a better connection, and it helps you build authenticity. And that's why we love the emotional side of marketing. Trend number 10, the email comeback. Look, email influences 59% of people's purchasing decisions. And when we think about email, most people check their email first thing in the morning. Even me, I check my email on my phone before I even get out of bed or brush or anything. Mark Zuckerberg talks about he does the same thing as well. A lot of people do it. I don't do it because Mark Zuckerberg does it. I do it because I get tons of emails in the morning and I want to go through them and just get them done. And most people check their email daily, 99% of people. That's massive. But you want to make sure your more emails get delivered towards the morning so you can be at the top of the inbox versus the bottom of the inbox. That's really important because not everyone scrolls and gets through all their emails. And a lot of people have more than one email address. Majority have more than one email address. You have a personal, you have a work, the list goes on and on. You got to leverage more than one touch point with people to generate more revenue. What I mean by this is, how do you get people to opt into all their email addresses? How do you continually touch them? And this will help you generate more sales in the long run. Email is not fading. A lot of people talk about it's dead. It's not. It's expecting to reach 4.6 billion users by 2025. 91% of Americans use email. It's a primary channel for US marketers. And you got to keep in mind people have multiple inboxes. So your goal is to try to get them to, give you their email address from multiple inboxes, and make sure you send your emails early mornings versus later in the day. And when I say early mornings, I'm talking about like 5 a.m. for the ideal time zone that for the people you're targeting. Because at 5 a.m., if people start waking up at 6 or 7, you'll be close to the top of the inbox. And don't underestimate, open rates. We find that open rates can be above 30%. The key is not necessarily the subject line. It's actually more so the sender. So you need to build trust, build that brand through social media, creating content, podcasting, like that we're talking about, whether it's a corporate brand or personal. So then that way people open up the emails more. And we find that affects open rates more than just the subject line and what you're typing in there. Trend number 11, the video marketing norm. So we did something that was quite interesting. We looked at 102,394 reels on Instagram. We also surveyed 1,681 people. And everyone's talking about video and you need quality to be amazing. And people are emphasizing that, oh, you have to make your videos perfect and edit them. So we asked people, we surveyed, this is just the survey data first. Would you continually watch a video with good content but poor visual design? Most people said no. And then we said, do you care if a video you are watching has animation, is beautifully edited? Most people said yes. But here's what's interesting. This is what people are saying, right? This is the survey data. We also analyzed over 102,000 reels. When we looked at the actual videos, the videos with minimal to no visual design elements and little to no editing actually generated more views than the ones that were highly produced. And the big takeaway was they felt that the non-highly produced ones were more authentic. So even though people are saying they want the highly edited and produced content, they actually want what's considered lo-fi content. Lo-fi content means me busting out my phone, filming and editing, and you can edit a little bit here and there, use some of these AI technologies, but they don't want these highly produced videos. You can make them, but the lower produced videos tend to just do better and outperform. So you don't need to include visual design elements that are flashing in the screen or anything fancy. Just keep things simple. If your content's good, we find that you get more engagement than if you spent that time editing. And when we looked at the elements that actually do affect views, we found a lot of different factors. We looked at over 20 different factors, but here are the ones that came up the most frequently. Captions. Videos need captions. A lot of people don't have sound turned on. Hooks. Hook is what you're saying at the beginning. This keeps people watching the rest. Entertainment, making people laugh or feel good, which gets into emotional component, making people feel like sad or happy. That helps quite a bit. Storytelling is a huge one. Background music, it helps people engage. Leveraging a trending topic isn't bad. Newsworthy, topics aren't bad. But if you look at the biggest one, it's captions, hook, and then entertainment. And the biggest two are just captions and hook. Hook, of course, is how you're going to get them to watch the rest, right? People have attention span shorter than a goldfish, according to data released by Microsoft. Consumers retain 95% of the information from videos compared to 10% from text, according to HubSpot. Videos are important. Use the elements we talked about, and it'll help you do really well. And I know we were just looking at short form videos here, but just keep in mind this data, if you use it for your video ads, they're going to perform better as well. So what should you do? Keep your videos short, grab their attention within the first few seconds. Keep your cuts quick when you're editing your videos and make it simple. You don't have to design too much and you'll be better off. Number 12, humans versus AI ads. This one was fun. I'll share all the data here. We first took our project in a two-step phase. We, spent over $7 million on Facebook ads, 28 businesses. This was just a small segment of the overall spend we manage. And we tested first human-generated ads versus AI-generated ads. And we found that the human-generated ads worked out much better. The AI-generated, the end result was the human-generated creatives outperformed the AI ones 68.3% of the time. But here's where it got interesting. If you look at the one on the very right, you see AI combined with humans. So we then took the winning human-generated ads, gave them to AI, had them created more variations of it, and then we found that AI won 75.7% of the time. Moral of the story, humans aren't better than AI. AI is not better than humans. The winner is AI combined with humans. And sure, you'll see sometimes humans outperforming or AI outperforming, but why not leverage these tools to the maximum extent and combine it with your own brain power, and you're going to be much better off in the long run. A study by OptiMonster showed that AI-generated ad copy can be highly effective, with some achieving a click-through rates of 48% higher than human written copy. And we've all seen human written copy do better. Combine both of them. This is where you're going to win. According to Gartner, 40% of all creative content will be generated using AI by 2025. But human oversight and creation will remain crucial. And this is important because you want to make sure that it meets your brand guidelines, what you're following, make sure the ads are ethical and all that kind of good stuff. And make sure that you A/B test your ads. If you don't, you're not going to do as well. Trend number 13, brands, brands, brands. So when we looked at businesses and different sizes and revenue, when we looked at search queries on Google, we found that majority of search queries, the bigger the business, came from their brand, people typing in their brand name on Google. It's like people typing in NP Digital on Google and going to our website, NP Digital, instead of Googling like digital marketing agency. The bigger your business, the more of your search traffic we found comes from brands, which means build your brand. If you build your brand like Apple and Tesla or Dollar Shave Club, or you got to start somewhere by leveraging most social platforms, you're going to be better off. It'll help with your overall search traffic and search rankings in the long run. It also helps build more trust. And the way you do that is you be authentic when you're creating your content, whether it's from your blog posts or your social content. This really does help you generate more brand queries in the long run. 14, my content framework. When you think about content, there's Twitter or X or Instagram, LinkedIn, there's blogs, there's webinars, podcasts, there's tons of different types of content. I have this framework and it works really well. I'm going to show you how I do it. And it starts with ideation, and then it goes all the way to creating blog and webinar and even podcast content. And the results have been amazing from this, and I'll share the stats. So ideation, I'll just come up with ideas. You can use ChatGPT for ideas, or my team will give me ideas. My team's like, oh, we should have a title, content is not king. And I'm like, better title, content is not king, the new approach to content marketing. People will be like, what's a new approach? I want to learn it. This is me actually typing out to one of my team members. So then we tested it out on Twitter. We first tested out content is not king. We also tested out a variation where content is not king, the new approach. But I broke down content is not king. Marketers believe that the more content you create, the better off you are. But one number tells a different story, 4.6 billion. It's the number of pieces of content that are produced each day. And they go on, and I break it down. Did well. The reason I test stuff out on Twitter or X is because they don't penalize you for posting a lot of content that's crap. See, most social networks like Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, if you post a lot of crap content and then you post good content, your good content doesn't do as well because your overall profile and user rating sucks. So they don't show your content to as many people. Hence, test your stuff on Twitter or X. And then I take the winning versions and I read this tweet literally here line for line. I'm reading it in a video format. I'm not changing anything, literally reading it word for word. And then I post that with the winners on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook, literally post it everywhere on the web. And this model, because I'm testing out a lot of content on X first, because they don't penalize you for crap. And you may think that something is amazing, others may not. So just test a lot of stuff out on X first, and then take your winners and record short form videos and long form videos. And we saw a 46.7% increase on LinkedIn for engagement, 31.4% on YouTube, and 29.5% on Instagram. You don't need to make your videos fancy either. I already showed you this graph. And then we take our winners from the short form, and then we create blog posts from them. And this has helped us get 103.8% more traffic from our blog posts by just taking the winners from the short form videos, right? Because remember, all platforms are different. What works on X sometimes won't work on Instagram, but usually it does. And then when you take your winners from the short form, when you look at all the platforms and then turn them into blog posts, it's usually going to be a hit. And we found that to do really well for us. And then we turned our winners from our blog posts into lead magnets and webinars. And it went from our average webinar, we were getting 4,164 webinar registrations from using this model and turning the winning blog posts and short form videos into webinars. Because people like the topic so much more, we did the same amount of promotion. We didn't spend any money or anything like that to our same audience. We were getting 12,223 registrants on average. And the average income we were generating per webinar went up from 158,000 to 460,000. That's a big difference from this framework. And then we even take our winners from our short form and create podcast episodes from that as well. And it works. Look, just because you have a lot of subscribers doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of YouTube views. I'm not going to tell you who this is, but you look at their social account, they got 4.31 million subscribers. They're barely getting any views. And it's because you're just putting out content. I have this problem too. But by using this framework, my view count is getting up. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It's about producing the right type of content. This just shows the social networks don't care that much about followers. They care about how engaging is your content. And this will help you create more engaging content by following that framework. So the steps: install Tweet Hunter. You can browse X for more ideas. Post at least 2 to 3 times a day on X, if not 4. Take your winning posts, usually 1 per day, turn them into short form videos. And then take your short form videos that have, when you're posting them on Instagram, just take the X description literally word for word and use that as your description and copy and paste. Then you turn your short form videos that are popular into blog posts and expand upon them. Promote the blog posts. Make sure you do that through emails. And then create at least 1 webinar a month and podcast a month. And you can use that from the winners of the short forms and the blog posts as well. The last trend: the best source of marketing tactics don't come from just reading online. Instead, you'll find them by interacting with others through things like conferences. I found that the best tactics for me typically have came from events versus just reading online or following social media, or even just doing little get-togethers in your own local community or talking with other marketers on the phone. It's going to come from the interaction. That's where you're going to get the best stuff. Most people don't post their best stuff online. I post everything, but I'm a marketer who owns a marketing agency. That's not most people, so that's why you got to interact with others. You're in the right place. I hope you're enjoying the event. I hope you enjoyed the speech. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your guys' time.
Wow, Neil, that was so great. So many helpful insights. Thanks. I think the audience will be like all over the world. So yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. We hope you enjoyed this conference, that you've learned a lot of things. I'm sure you do, and that will help you reach your goals. We're going to take a 10-minute break before starting the next conference. That's going to be Stefan's conference. He will talk about how search insights leads to SEO evangelism. That's going to be a great one, I'm pretty sure. You'll receive an email from Linestorm in a few minutes to access it. And if you have any problems, as I said before, contact us and use the chat on the SEO Square website. Again, Neil, thank you so much. It was so great to have you today. And yeah, so many helpful insights again. Thanks.
And thank you guys for having me. And everyone, thank you for taking the time to listen throughout your day. I know you guys are all busy, so we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, see you soon, guys. Bye.